And now, a few words from the person who does such a great job of bringing us together each year, our friend and our host, Wade Henderson.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. And thank you all for being here tonight for the 39th annual Hubert H. Humphrey Civil and Human Rights Award dinner. Let me start by thanking our dinner co-chairs and sponsors, including among our many generous supporters, two in particular for their extraordinary efforts. Fred Humphreys of Microsoft and Eduardo Martinez of UPS. Thank you guys very much. I'd also like to thank the chair of the Leadership Conference, Judy Lichtman, and our esteemed national board, the extraordinary staff of the Leadership Conference that do such great work. We love you guys, we love you. Love you. The members of Local 25 of Unite Here who are serving us dinner tonight. Let's hear it for Local 25. And each and every one of you, the members of the civil and human rights community. Now, in addition, I'd like to recognize some special guests who are here with us this evening. Students from the district's own Ballou High School and their dynamic new principal, Dr. Yetunde Reeves. Yeah. These students, really, it's wonderful to have you. These students represent the future of our city and our nation. So welcome, Ballou Knights. We're glad you're here with us. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize our friends who have traveled the farthest to be here with us tonight. President Julie Kitka and the Alaska Federation of Natives. I know you all out here. Julie, we love you. I'd also like to recognize the parents of Matthew Shepard, Judy and Dennis Shepard, who are here with us tonight. Dennis and Judy, thank you. We are also honored, excuse me guys, to be joined tonight by Congressman John Lewis, a former Hubert Humphrey Award winner and a man who, as a young student leader and organizer, helped transform our nation. Welcome, Congressman John Lewis. Now, speaking of John Lewis, and excuse me, guys, I have terrible allergies and cold. I am especially pleased tonight to be able to This is awful. I really apologize. I'm especially pleased tonight to be able to provide each of you with a copy of a powerful new DVD entitled Selma, The Bridge to the Ballot, presented by our good friends Richard Cohen and the Southern Poverty Law Center. This DVD is a component of a more extensive classroom toolkit on civil and human rights, which we will be introducing to schools here in the district. Thank you, Southern Poverty Law Center, for your great work and for making this gift possible. So thank you guys so much. Also on your tables tonight, you'll find copies of the book Just Mercy the wonderful new memoir by Brian Stevenson, one of the finest civil rights lawyers in America today. Our thanks to John Relman, a member of the Leadership Conference Education Fund Board, and his firm, Relman, Dane, and Colfax, for making the books available to everyone here. John, thank you so much for doing that. By speaking now instead of at the end of tonight's event, I'm challenging one of the first rules for any public speaker. Never stand in the way of your audience and their dinner. So, now as you may have noticed, we have adjusted our agenda this evening to accommodate our first award winner, a true American hero, former Senator Bob Dole. After dinner, we will celebrate the accomplishments of our other honorees. Eric Holder, our now former Attorney General, who I must say is looking incredibly relaxed, having turned over the Justice Department to our new Attorney General, Loretta Lynch. And our beloved colleague, Laura Murphy. Laura is, of course, the master of the left-right coalition. Now, I've known Laura for 30-plus years, and as I like to say, she may look like Bambi, but she bites like Jaws. Okay? So, we love that, Laura. All three of our honorees exemplify what Americans can accomplish when we work together to promote our common values and our common good. That is the spirit we honor at the Leadership Conference. We often say that these events are, and I quote, the only dinner in town where everyone has a seat at the table. And by everyone, we mean everyone. Just look around the room at the diversity represented tonight. It's a beautiful sight. And before I forget, I was just informed that Congressman John Conyers, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, a recipient of the Hubert H. Humphrey Award, is also here tonight. So join me in honoring John Conyers. Hey, hey, hey. We love you, Mr. Conyers. We love you. Now, before moving on, I'd like to take just a moment to remember and honor a dear member of the Leadership Conference family whose work and life personified the spirit of our inclusiveness. Catherine Hahn Montoya, an extraordinarily gifted organizer whose life was taken tragically just 1 month ago today, was an exceptional person. Kathy worked with us for 4 years. She also worked for 2 essential members of the Leadership Conference Coalition, the National Council of La Raza and the ACLU. We miss Kathy dearly, and our hearts and thoughts are with her wife, Meredith Cabell, and their families. Now, tonight, we meet in the midst of urgent efforts and in the shadow of great anniversaries that remind us that our journey toward justice is a long, rocky, and winding road. And history teaches us that at every crucial point in that journey, we must keep on keeping on, whether our progress requires marches in the streets or meetings in the corridors of power. Ours is a movement, not a moment. Half a century ago, the civil and human rights movement worked for voting rights, with the heroic and strategic struggle that is so movingly depicted in the film Selma. Half a century later, we have traveled far along freedom's road, but as Dr. King said, and I quote, "There have been no broad highways that lead us easily and inevitably to quick solutions," unquote. We are living at a time of increasing inequality in our economic system, gridlock in our political system, and unrest in many of our communities. On the many metrics by which we measure progress, people of color, low-income people, women, people with disabilities, and other marginalized groups are falling further behind, and in many ways doing worse than in earlier decades. The gaps in wages and wealth are expanding exponentially. Unemployment among communities of colors remains at recession levels, and our schools are more segregated by color and class. We face continued attacks on voting rights. Our immigration system remains broken and in need of a comprehensive fix, and our incarceration rates are exiling millions of men, women, and their families from mainstream America. So when we recall Selma, we are reminded that Dr. King's journey did not end with the march to Montgomery. Dr. King would address challenges similar to our own: a lame duck presidency, a conservative Congress, civil unrest here at home, national security challenges abroad, and an America polarized by color, culture, and class. Yet Dr. King did not despair. On the night before his life was taken from him, he encouraged his audience with the following words, and I quote, "Let us rise up tonight with a greater readiness. Let us stand with a greater determination, and let us move on in these powerful days, these days of challenge, to make America what it ought to be." We never know for sure what the future holds, but we do know that the work we do today here in Washington and across this nation matters to the lives of millions of people and will have a significant impact on the world our children and theirs will inherit. That is why we must be stronger, more strategic, and more passionate than ever. So, my friends, let's resolve again tonight to organize and to fight so that we can make real the promise of equality for us all. Thank you for joining us this evening, and thank you for doing all you can do to build an America as good as its ideals. Thank you so much.